I think we can start.
Yeah.
So welcome everybody. We see that before joining the webinar, we noticed that it has there is really an interest in the topic because there were many signups. So welcome everybody. We hope today that you will walk away from after hearing us with some meaningful insights, ideas. And the topic of this webinar is mastering the financial reporting. And here, starting from myself, my name is Anji. I am CEO and founder of Baltic Assist, and it's an outsourcing organization. I'm mostly servicing Scandinavian businesses in fields like accounting, financial controlling, tax services, and more than that. So on the left side from me, I have Paskar, who is CEO and founder of Sumary, the AI tool that we will speak about today. And on the right side from me, I have Patrick, who is my colleague from Baltic Assist. So he's like a fractional CFO at Baltic Assist today, and also one of the first, and probably today one of the most advanced users of the Sumary tool.
Correct. Absolutely.
So going through the agenda, so I guess that after hearing this webinar, we'll introduce you in some of the parts of AI in financial operations. You'll be able to hear about the constant challenges that companies face. So of course, the new solutions and the new ways of working will be presented to you, and what is most interesting probably that you will be able to see a demonstration of a real tool example of how you can streamline the finance operation. And at the end of that, of course, you'll be able to shoot your questions. We would be happy to answer. But speaking about Baltic Assist and my team, during the last 10 years, we will very actively searching, selecting, analyzing, and implementing various tools which could enhance our finance operations. And now we're sitting here with the founder CEO of Sumary, and it's a tool that could greatly boost your efficiency in financial area when we're speaking about budgeting, forecasting, VAT compliance, and reconciliation. Today, Paskar and Patrick will tell you more about it, and you'll be able to see how it works in practice. So yeah, and our actually story, we were like, as we know, me and Paskar know each other from the previous business venture, Paskar Business Ventures. So I was lucky to be a lucky person that heard the idea of Sumary even before there was an MVP. And
long before, actually.
Long before. Yeah. So since then we were closely following Paskar's journey there, and we're luckily selected as one of the first partners who can try this for our clients. And so this is one of the example, like me and my team were always searching for the tools, and this is one of the tools that we would be happy to tell you more about it and share it to you live. In addition to that, there should be many people joining from various roles and organizations and even countries. But I believe that after looking at the content of this webinar, it should be relevant and useful for all levels of finance professionals and also the executive ones, because these kind of tools and the topic that we're going to discuss here should help you to maybe focus more on strategic finance function and make your finance function more strategic. So let's begin. I'll probably pass the mic right now to my colleague Patrick.
Yes. Hello everyone. So before we move to actual demo that Paskar will show the tool, and then I will kind of show you even more one aspect of it. I wanted to talk about the challenges that we see in finance nowadays, in the aspect of AI basically being popular in the industry, not only in finance, but generally everywhere in most aspects of the business. So as you can see on the screen, I just pointed out few main challenges which are evolving that the finance teams, executives are facing. So first one is, of course, that everyone knows how much time we actually spend on manual data consolidation and reconciliation, plus the fragmented data landscapes. So as an actual example of many people, for example, you run the SaaS company, and then you have your subscription database in one place, then you have your ERP, and then in many cases, the data, let's say the revenue here and the revenue in other place, they do not match, they do not reconcile, and then the finance people have to spend a lot of hours looking into discrepancies and trying to find what's going on. Same with, for example, e-com businesses. You, for example, have your Shopify setup and you see, okay, so my revenue is this from this country or from this revenue stream. And then when you look into your books, for example, into economic or QuickBooks, and then you see a totally different number. So these are the main challenges we are facing. So we have great softwares, we have good tools, but then matching and basically finding a way between these tools is very time consuming and annoying. Then on top of that, we have slow variance detection. So basically, when we create a budget and then we want to do a follow-up on the budget, let's say next month or in a couple of months, and then we can usually see that, okay, something went wrong, we're far from the budget. And then if you don't have some AI developed tools, you need to spend, again, many hours finding out what went wrong, basically opening each bucket manually in your ERP. Okay, maybe I have too many invoices from this supplier, or maybe the invoice number or value has changed. So these kind of things, and again, we spend countless hours. And then it all comes down to the resource inefficiency, basically. So we have finance professionals that at the moment, we believe they are doing a lot of great work, but they could do much better work, and basically they could create much more value for the business if we have a possibility to basically reduce the manual workload that they do. So now these are the challenges, and we will be able to see how AI can help to solve those inefficiencies. So basically for the data consolidation, reconciliation, what AI can do is actually help you navigating around, and it can help you to basically compare automatically live the data from different sources, and can give you actually valuable input on what went wrong or maybe why you have those discrepancies. And then what we will also see in the demo, and Pascal will show, that AI is really good if set up correctly to show you the basically discrepancies in variance detection. So there is a special module in the Sumary tool that we will present, but basically this is really amazing feature that can help you limit your time on manual checking and exactly what I mentioned before. And then all in all those basically AI features combined make your resources in finance much efficient. So basically the idea is that you, with same amount of people in your finance team in-house or outsourced finance team, you can do much more and basically provide much better finance setup for the business. Now that being said, I think it would be really good time for you, Pascal, to take over and show us actually how the Sumary tool works and what it can do.
Thank you very much. So before we dive into the demo, I just wanted to take a quick step back and just give you a very quick intro in terms of what are we, who are we, and what have we actually built. So in the co-founding group, there's 4 of us. All 4 of us at Sumary, we have backgrounds in either building and scaling companies or from being professional CFOs and consultants at McKinsey. So for the past 8 years, I personally have been part of building more than 10 companies, some of them very small, less than a couple of million euros in revenue, and some of them much bigger. So I think the largest is now close to 20 million euros in revenue. Despite having tried sort of all of these different sizes, all of the pain points that Patrick mentioned before is some that I've really felt sort of in the hard way in my past experience. I've tried all the pains of, reporting numbers to investors, not being 100% sure they were correct. I've had, the pain and agonies of, day before salary run, not being 100% sure whether cash flow was sufficient to pay for salaries. And, all of those feelings of sort of feeling like you have somewhat control of your numbers, but not fully control of your numbers. And that is really the feeling that we're trying to address with Sumary. And we feel like right now, with everything that's happening in machine learning and AI, it's a great time to do so. So our mission at Sumary is actually pretty simple. We're here to give the unsung heroes of every business, being bookkeepers, controllers, and finance teams, the AI superpowers we feel like they deserve. And why is that important? Well, we feel like in the age of AI, in the age of whatever's happening geopolitically right now, in the age of things moving at record pace, it's now more important than ever to actually have your numbers under control. And that's why we believe that it's more important than ever to actually have great bookkeeping, great financial controlling. And we believe that with the right tools, you can take the great bookkeepers and controllers and make them world-class bookkeepers and controllers. And that's really what we're here to do. So we're here to try and become the bookkeepers, controllers, and finance team's best friend. And just want to say thank you very much, you guys, for having us here. Baltic Assist was actually the first design partner that we brought on board. I've personally worked with the guys for the past 5+ years or something, and I feel like this is sort of as good as it gets in at least what I've experienced. And I feel like we've developed something that you guys now use more or less every day in your everyday work. And on top of that, obviously, there's a bunch of other great accountants that are using this every day, and there's a bunch of other great finance teams that are using this every day. And that's basically what we want to basically talk you through right now.
Perfect. So now is the time when you can show us actually the product.
Yes, I will now take over.
Showtime.
You should all see my screen now, and let me know if you don't. What I will do now over the next 10 to 15 minutes is, I think, it looks like the right screen's on. So yeah. What I'll do now over the next 10 to 15 minutes is basically walk you through the product and the features as they are right now, and give you a couple of real life examples of how it's being used. So just to make it very simple, right now the product has a couple of different elements, as you see over here on the left-hand side. There is reporting and variance analysis, and then there is budgeting, which Patrick will actually show you a very cool example of towards the end. Then there is anomaly detection, and there is our AI features. I will kick us off here at the top with reporting. So reporting is fundamentally the 3 statements that you as a finance professional, bookkeeper, or controller always want to look at. So you have here your P&L, you have here your balance sheet, and you have here your cash flow statement. Setting this up in Sumary is fairly simple. You pick a template for your P&L, or you build one yourself, you decide. Baltic has built one themselves that they use for most of their clients, but basically up to you. Once you've built the template, you connect your ERP system, be that economic, be that whatever else it is. And basically from there on out, our AI matches your general ledger over to this P&L. And so that means that your P&L is set up and numbers are flowing within a couple of minutes. Once set up, we've basically pulled over every single transaction in your company ledger into our system. And over here, you basically see it in the structure you want to. Once you've set up and once everything is up here, you basically have the ability to, up here in the left-hand side, shift between whatever period you want to see. Over here, you shift between whatever department you want to see. And here you shift between looking at your numbers with or without draft entries. It's very important to say that this structure, as I said right before, you can edit very simply just by pressing this. You can add rows, move rows, everything is drag and drop, so it takes you just a second. Once set up, you here have the ability to basically, let's say, drill down and really understand your numbers. So one example could be that you are browsing back and forth, and here you're having a bit of a hard time understanding the underlying transactions. With the click of one button, you basically can pull in every single underlying transactions directly from your ledger. You can filter here, you can sort here, you can scroll back and forth, and you can basically understand everything that's going on, which is very cool. You also, from our system directly, have the ability to move around draft entries. So you can basically find any entry. So this is a draft. You can say, hey, okay, this looks like a mistake. This should have been somewhere else. You can then directly from our tool, move it around in your ledger. So any updates that you push here is then updated back into your ledger, be it economic or be it whatever it is. This feature obviously works for draft entries and also now works for booked entries. So now there's no more basically pressing 15 different buttons in economic to try and turn around a voucher. You can now do it with the click of one single button.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether it's draft or booked.
And maybe something worth to mention, Bas, that if for finance professionals, compliance is extremely important.
Yeah.
And what Bas just mentioned is you can change draft entries, but you can also change booked entries. But what happens in the backlog actually, that entry gets reversed, and then there's one more entry booked into the right bucket. So all the compliance is still maintained. It's a very important aspect.
Thank you. That was a very good clarification. And that's basically what the base level of the reporting can do. Obviously, that also works for your balance sheet. So you can look through every single change here and understand your numbers probably better than you ever could before. Second part of the reporting, which is very cool, is this floating AI widget down here, which I'm sure you've seen. So this AI widget, you could very well ask, what does that do and what is it? Well, fundamentally, you should think of this AI widget as two things. Number one, it is the most powerful analyst that you've probably ever had. So it's an AI analyst with access to every single one of your transactions in your company history that can conduct any single analysis that you would like to. And that's sort of number one. We'll show you some really cool examples in a second. And number two, it is also let's say, an online CFO that can conduct any task in our application that you want to. So you can directly from here move around entries, create graphs, post messages, etc., etc., etc. One of the things, just one cool feature that I know a lot of our clients really enjoy is linked to, let's say, the controlling towards a month end. So I think very often you've probably all tried sitting in a month end meeting and going through, let's just say we're going through the numbers for April and saying, hey, okay, why is other fixed cost moved from 50K to 83K and then back to 46K? What's going on here? What's really the driver? I think that's something that we've all probably been asked a million times in month-end meetings. Well, what you could do now is actually you could just paste in a question here. I've just copied it. So basically asking why is other fixed costs so much higher in April compared to May? Please include draft journals. And then you basically ask it. What it does now is quite remarkable. It basically runs through all of the lines in your chart of account that you've mapped to other fixed costs, then pulls out all entries, runs the analysis for the month of April, then does the exact same thing for the month of May, and then actually analyzes those transactions and tells you where the difference is. So now you can see here, it actually pulled out a very brief summary, but also has like a full analysis ready for me here. So if I press this full analysis, you'd see basically an overlay that pops up. This overlay then says, hey, this is correct. Your spend was 83K in April. It was 46K in May. That is a delta of 36K. And here it actually gives you the summary as to what happened. So here it says, okay, it looks like there is some sort of misclassification linked to this, which is bad debt in April, which inflated the expenses. Okay, sounds about right. Down here, you then get the ability to look through every entry actually. So if I press here, I actually see, yeah, it's right. There is directly a write-off of bad debt under other fixed cost, which probably should not be there. And I can then compare that to the month of May where I see the same. And down here, it gives you some insights. So it basically says the same here. Okay, yeah, it looks like there is something that's off. And I think this analysis is super cool. And then by the click of one button, you can then repeat this for the last year. And this is something I know, and we've talked about it, Patrick, many times, that this is something that saves you a ton of time also in month-end meetings, because this is such an annoying question task that just takes up a lot of time to dig through your ledger to pull out entries.
Yes, and what I can add here, so of course, looking at this, there were what, 12 transactions a month, right? In this bucket, you can say, okay, I can also go into economic, just look into 1 month, look into the other month, and still spot the difference. Maybe yes, but then imagine you don't have 12 transactions in the month, you have 200 transactions in the month, right? And then suddenly you will have to spend a lot of time and pull the data down to the Excel, start analyzing, and here, just within the seconds, you can actually get a lot of insights.
Yeah. So that was just one example of sort of how powerful we feel like the AI CFO is. A couple of other sort of cool options here is that you can also ask it specific questions about specific rows. So you can also basically, it understands the connections between the rows. So it understands that gross profit 1 is net sales plus COGS. It understands how you get from COGS to EBITDA. It understands the link between EBITDA and cash flow. So you can actually ask it about scenarios also. Let's say very quickly you want to understand, hey, what happens if I hire 2 people, sales go up by 10%? Boom, it can tell you the exact impact on your cash flow. Obviously, there's still some modeling to do if you want to model it out for real, and Patrick will show you that in a second. But if you want some very quick simulations, it actually does all of that for you on the spot. And I think the last thing that I really want to say here is that what it also does, which is almost difficult to comprehend, is the fact that the AI CFO already now, based on natural language, so either written text or you can also talk to it, can actually already now conduct several tasks. So you can ask it to shift the year, show you month without journals, pull up entries, and it can then do like 3 different tasks based on one prompt, which is quite cool and it's something that you can save a lot of time on. Yes. Cool. That is basically it for the reporting. Now moving on to variance. So variance reporting basically gives you the option of comparing any given budget that you've built. Patrick will talk more in a second about how we build budgets to any given month. So let's just say here for the sake of argument, July. So what we're doing now is we're comparing our 2025 July actuals to our 2025 anchor budget. With the click of one button, you've now seen you get the exact same P&L structure as you had over in your reporting. And here you always get your reporting on the actual month that we're talking about. So actuals versus budget. You then get a year-to-date view, actual versus budget, and you get a full year view over here, actual plus budget compared to budget. This runs completely by itself and is updated instantly as soon as new numbers hit your ledger. And what the cool thing here is it also helps you very quickly get an overview. So if you press COGS, for instance, it will tell you, hey, okay, you were on target for the month, you're over budget year to date, and you're moderately over budget in full year. And then it gives you a little bit of summary down here. And this also does that on the deepest drill down level you want to. So, hey, if you drill down all the way to Google, you get the exact same overview and say, hey, okay, we are over budget in July, significantly over budget year to date, and significantly over budget year to date, full year. I guess we all know the feeling of being over budget on Google. I've at least tried that many times. But yeah, that is sort of variance report. That obviously works on your P&L, obviously works on your cash flow to the extent you want to, or on your balance sheet to the extent you want to, and on your cash flow. So you can see exactly what happened. Why are we off? Where are we off? Okay, it looks like, what do I know? It looks like that, there's something off in current liabilities, and you can see exactly what the drivers are here. Very cool. That is it for variance reporting. Next up is the anomaly detection system. So anomaly detection system is probably one of the favorite features every time I talk to Patrick. So, and I actually quite understand why. This is a quite cool feature and something we're very proud of. So think of the anomaly detection system as an always-on error protection or error screener. So what this is, and I'm just taking a step back and trying to explain. So what the anomaly detection system is quite simple. We've taken thousands and thousands and thousands of transaction data per country, labeled it. So, hey, this is right, this is not right. This is VAT code here, this is the VAT code here. We've used that data, so all of that labeled data, to build a model. We then combine that with your individual company and build a pattern based on that. So we know, okay, hey, you always put your Meta ads on account 225 with that code I25. You always put your Microsoft Office on software purchase Denmark with that code I25. You always put Google on this account with this bad code. You pay your rent once a month. You pay your insurances once a quarter, etc., etc., etc. We build that pattern for you in the background. And then what happens is quite remarkable. Every time a entry hits your ledger, we run that entry through that pattern that we've built. And we then flag mistakes instantly. So that mistake could be a bunch of different ones. What we've brought here with you today is like a couple of that mistakes. But we also have like frequency mistakes and other cool mistakes. So could be, hey, usually you pay your rent once a quarter. Now you have 2 bills this month. Why is that? Usually your Facebook account is on this account with that code I25. Now you put it a different place. Why is that? Usually you pay your insurances once a year and then amortize it. You haven't done that now. There's 3 invoices. Why is that? Etc., etc. And I'm just going to show you here how it actually looks like on screen. So on screen, you basically get the specific entry over on the left-hand side. You then get the type of anomaly here. You get the date, and then you get a confidence score. So confidence score is quite cool. That is basically the AI rating how sure it is. So if it's high, it's really sure. If it's medium, it's less sure. And if it's low, it's the least sure. And the very cool bit here is that you actually get the ability to understand exactly what's going on. So let's press on one. Up here, you get the explanations as to why have we flagged this as an anomaly, which is quite cool to understand. Down here, you actually see the corrections. You see, okay, Microsoft, which is a purchase in Denmark, should have 25%. It has 0. That means that you have 237 kroner you could deduct, which you didn't. And the very cool bit is that down here, you actually get the chance to fix it. So you press one button and then we fix it, push it back to your ledger, be it economic, be it whatever it is, and store that information. What's really cool is we basically get to know your company as you rate some of these anomalies. And the more you say yes, no, the more we get to know your company and the better we get to predict your anomalies in the future, which we feel like is very, very cool.
So basically, the more transactions you have and the longer you use the tool, then AI will learn and get clever and clever and more accurate.
Yes, exactly. And we already see now, I mean, we tested a couple of examples just to see how good it was. I mean, we even down to the VAT code on sales invoices, it caught when the sales invoice had the right VAT code, but it was a return order, then had the wrong VAT code. Then it actually spotted the wrong VAT code on the return order, which I think is something that,
in the end, it was within, I think, 100,000 of transactions. Yeah. It was just one.
Yeah, it would be humanly impossible to ever flag that one, and we actually caught it, which is quite cool. So that's basically the anomaly detection system. The last thing I want to show, and then I hand it over to you, Patrick, is the AI CFO. So the AI CFO here is fundamentally the full screen version of the little snippet you had on the reporting module. So it's basically from in here, you can conduct any analysis, you can upload any files and ask questions, you can upload or you can talk to it directly and basically ask it anything that has to do with your finances, any action you want done, you ask it all directly from in here. And what's very cool is also that we store your chats and understand your preferences. So up here, if you have any analyses that you like, they're saved up here, and you could always go back into it and say, hey, repeat this for last year, or hey, repeat this for the most recent month closed, etc., etc. And I feel like that is pretty close, pretty cool. Sorry. And that was basically the last bit on my end, at least.
Yeah.
Now I think it's.
I will take it from here.
Please do.
Okay, so I will try to share.
And until you're sharing, still you're going to be developing like a lot of features in the tool. And I just thought, let's say one of the other things that takes maybe should take a lot of time, but really everybody, like somebody is doing it. Mm-hmm. Let's say when you're billing the company, to check whether, let's say, that company is VAT registered, and sometimes they lose the VAT code, and the company that does notice that, and they still keep sending the invoices and apply the wrong VAT code, and then a year passes and the situation being discovered.
Yeah.
So this is something, you know, could be a cool feature if there it could be automatically check the other party, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We actually had a good discussion this morning with a couple of the other teammates here. We also said, hey, something like credit rating could be quite cool. So like check your VAT, check your credit rating, etc. Whenever we're dealing with customers and suppliers.
Oh yeah.
So maybe when I'm done with the demo, you can do a small sneak peek into new features that we are developing.
For sure.
Okay, but can you see my screen?
Loud and clear.
Fantastic. So now, basically, what I want to show you is one of the features of the tool, which is related to budgeting. So apart from all the amazing features that Pascal just presented, Sumary is one-stop shop for your finance. So not only you can run month-end, you can do your reviews and you can report your actuals, but also you can have your budget in here. You can create various budgets and the tool is created in a way that it will really help you to be accurate when and be correct between your three statement models. So profit and loss, balance sheet, and cash flow. So how it works. Basically, on the left side, as Pascal shown, we have the budgeting part. And the budgeting, basically, the outlay is a reflection of your reporting. So however you set up your P&L, balance sheet, and cash flow, here you will see the same format. And then, if I just move a little, you can see that I have my actuals until August, and these are 100% coming from your ERP. Then on the right side, I already have my budget. So basically, I just set up a simple budget before this webinar, just to show you the coolest feature. But how it works is very simple. So you have basically two ways of setting up your budgets. So I guess it depends if you are extremely into finance and modeling, or maybe you are a beginner, or you don't want to spend too much time. So the one way of doing that is actually you can use here, basically a custom method. So there are many more custom methods being developed. But basically, you can, for example, make the assumption that prepaid expense is usually, let's say, 2% of your inventory, right? And this is how the budgeting will happen for this position in the balance sheet. It will always in the future be just 2%. But, and now what is super cool, in the backlog of everything of your budget, you actually have Google Sheet linked to the Sumary account. So we can access it through configuration, settings, integration. I will open it right now. Yes. So basically what happens in the backlog, you can choose a template. So there are many templates already built by the Sumary team, depending if you're e-com business or your SaaS company, and there are many more being prepared right now. But basically, I just set up this template, and then I have included few assumptions. And then based on these assumptions for my P&L mostly, and I will move back here, my budget was created for P&L, and then automatically my balance sheet and my cash flow budget was also recreated correctly. So at any point of time, and I think this is extremely important, the tool is designed in a way that you have 100% assurance that your balance sheet and your cash flow will match, and there will be no mismatch between, let's say, retained earnings and net income in your P&L. People that are involved in budgeting really understand what I'm talking about. So imagine that you spend hours and hours in Excel building your P&L, balance sheet, and cash flow forecast or budget for next year, and then one last minute change. Okay, we actually will hire one more FTE in 6 months, and then you just change one thing, and then suddenly you have to recreate a part at least of your balance sheet budget, and then you have to make sure your cash flow is following. What happens in this tool is pretty amazing, and I will show you right now. Before that, actually, I will show you that you can create as many budgets as you want. So here on the left top side, I can move between years. So I can budget the rest of 25. I can create a budget for 26 and 27 and whatever I want. And then here, I can choose what type of budget I want to do, meaning how many actual closed months I want to use, and then how many remaining months I want to use for the budget. So for 2025, I have 8 plus 4, and then for 2026, obviously I have 0 plus 12, so it's only the budget. And then what I want to show you is exactly the example I mentioned. So imagine you have created your budget and you're happy, and then suddenly you have to add one more FTE. So how in Sumary it works? So you will open your Google Sheet, and then you will just move to your people template. And then down here, you can see I have cells for my new employees. Then I will just, what I am going to do, I will add one full-time employee with salary of 50K a month, starting in January, and let's say just for next year. Simple change, right? But for what it means for finance people, again, is actually that all my numbers have changed or should change, right, to be reflected correctly, because now my salary cost increased, and then thus my balance sheet will change, and then cash flow also should change. So I just did this small change here, and I don't have to worry about anything else. I can just go back to Summary. I know that FTE's salary cost is right here. So all I have to do, just click here, click Update Metric. And now, as you see, my salary cost increased. And now what I would normally have to do in Excel, then, okay, I look how my balance sheet looks like, how my cash flow looks like, and then I need to spend maybe 2-3 hours fixing that. Here in this tool, what I have to do is only I go to my cash and cash equivalent position, and I will click Update Forecast Method once. And in the right bottom corner, you can see that now the tool updates every single month, both for balance sheet and cash flow. It recalculates basically those two statements for me. So I just have to wait a couple seconds.
I think every finance people or every finance person knows the pain of waiting for the circular reference of the balance sheet and cash flow statement updating one by one.
Exactly. And here, only after 10 seconds, boom, that is done. My cash and cash equivalents have been recalculated. At the same time, my cash flow statement have been recalculated, and I am sure that my ending cash balance here and ending cash balance in my balance sheet are exactly the same. And that is pretty fantastic. So as you can see, whatever change I will make to my profit and loss budget, I don't have to worry about anything else, because the tool will update everything else for me. So that's pretty fantastic. And then what I want to show you, let's imagine we go back to 2025. Or actually, I can show you one more thing on this 2026 budget. So you have also possibility to create as many budgets as you want, and also as many versions as you want. So that's super important. And there is this take snapshot function. So what I can do now, I can just click this button and I can rename my budget. So it can be 2026 plus 1 FTE in customer support, for example. And then I can just call it a base scenario. I can add additional description if I want, and then I will just create the snapshot. So I don't have to worry now that if I go back and change something in my profit and loss budget, that I will not be able to see, okay, what is the difference, what I had here before.
And one important thing also is actually that the information that Patrick just typed in, let's call it +1 FTE in support, that information is very important because that is fed to our AI CFO. So the AI CFO now actually knows, okay, this version of the budget has a +1 support FTE. So then we'll also be able to tap into that context once you start asking it about that.
Yes, and then I will just smoothly move back for a moment to the Pascal part, the variance analysis. So now after I took a snapshot of my budget, I can actually be comparing it to various scenarios in the future. So then I will see that maybe I'm close to my best possible scenario, or actually I'm going into the mid scenario, and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. Now I would like to show you one more interesting feature. So let's imagine, because we are now in November, of course, so ideally we should be close to closing October. But then imagine you are already, you have September closed. So what you want to do, you want to basically update your budget with actuals, but then still keep the future months budgeted. And again, you want to make sure that your other statements, balance sheet and cash flow, are correct. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to create a new budget. I will select the year. I will select 9 plus 3. So this means 9 closed months and 3 budget months. Then I will click create the budget. There you go. So as you can see here for September, I had my budget numbers. Now I have my actuals and budgets next to here. And then if I move back, just to be sure, I will update my cash and cash equivalents once again. And then I have 100% assurance that again, future, so the rest of 2025 and 2026, 3 statements are corresponding to each other. There's no mismatch between the cash, retained earnings, net income, and so on and so forth. So I think this is absolutely unique. And if you are the finance professional doing the budgeting, you know exactly how painful it is to play with that. And I believe this tool and this feature is actually quite amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, so this is specific part I wanted to show you guys. So now I believe that our demonstration has come to an end.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, so now I believe now it's the time. Now it's the time
to slide to the end.
To slide to the end, and maybe there are some questions from our audience. I think there was the question, but our moderator at Vinas maybe can see.
Just a second, I think. Okay.
So I see one question here, which is someone asking about the anomaly detection. So it asks whether the system understands the document actually attached, and I can say yes. So actually, a part of the anomaly check that we do is actually having the AI run through the PDF and read everything that's on it, and then make sure that that information is the same that is in the actual entry in economic or in your ledger, whatever it is. So we actually use all the information on the PDF or picture, whatever you've uploaded, to check that it is correct.
Okay. Like, what about like visualizing information? Like, does the AI CFO is able to like build graph, for example? Because there was a question, try to ask the AI to build a graph over the cost for the last 6 months.
You basically, with the click of one button, can to create graph. You don't even need to ask the AI CFO. You can do that by yourself. So I can show you. I can share my screen. So if you basically press whatever line here, you actually it pulls out a graph for you off the bat. You can do that on groups. You can also do that on individual lines. So it can do that basically right off the bat.
Okay. Another question is, which I can believe I can answer myself. Does Sumary work with other ERPs like Microsoft Business Central? So the answer would be, for now, no. It only works with economic, but there are plans for future developments. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So in the first half of next year, we're probably looking at a couple of months into 2026. We will start to add integrations to other systems.
Okay.
Maybe it's a nice timing for you to do a sneak peek of new features you guys are working on.
Yeah, I can do that. Actually, just got one more question here, which is, do we support dimensions? And yes, we support as many dimensions as you want to. The biggest customer that we work with right now, which is a very big customer, they have 70 dimensions in economic, and I believe that is the most of all customers in economic. So yes, we support dimensions. Let me just see if there's anything else. Cool. Yeah, in terms of new features that are upcoming, we actually spent some time today looking at a couple together with the team here. So the one big, very cool feature that are coming now is we call it a month-end checklist, basically to create tasks and transparency and make sure that all tasks related to month-end are done and documented. So basically, what you will be able to do is you'll be able to build your own month-end list. And you can then use different tasks. One task would be the AI controlling that we showed you before, where you basically say, hey, okay, compare every single bucket to the month before and the year before and give me that report. So that's part of every month end. Another task could be anomaly detection. So we'd be, hey, have you emptied your anomalies for this month? Third bucket could be reconciliation. So have you reconciled the bank? Have you reconciled SCADA? All of that stuff will be done in the tool and documented in the tool. And that is something that we're very excited about. Another one that we're working on, which will also be done hopefully already this year, will be the chance to create reporting. So the best, let's say, sort of PDF reporting that you have. So you could create a PDF just by writing back and forth. The AI CFO, it would create summaries, graphs, pictures, tables, etc., etc. So those are a couple of big ones that we are working on, which hopefully will be done within this year. And then on top of that, for next year, we're looking at some other cool stuff like reconciliations, bank, customer, supplier, and a couple of things like that.
Very interesting and useful.
Yes. Do we have any more questions?
No, I think we just have a few facts that weather is the same in Aarhus and Copenhagen. That was the beginning.
Yeah. I think there's one who's asking what the difference is between Sumary and BI systems. So I think the biggest difference, I hope you saw that with the anomaly detection and the budgeting and so on now, but the biggest difference is, I guess, BI is more like reporting, whereas we actually conduct the bookkeeping and the controlling, we check for mistakes, let you do analyses, update your budget, etc., directly in our tool.
Yes. So then, okay. Thank you for the presentation. Yeah, so coming to an end, I wanted to basically add one more thing. So from my ambition here for this webinar was basically to show to our, not only clients, but all the guests here, basically something extremely cool, in my opinion. So because I, for many, many years working in finance, controlling and budgeting, monthly closing, I know the struggles myself, and I know I'm not alone. And basically I wanted to show you that there are tools here available that can really make your life much easier. And not only that, but also it can save your time. So you don't have to spend, you or your employees in finance department don't have to spend that much time on manual reviewing and so on, but they can actually start creating more value, even if they're very junior level people. So yeah, I hope you really like it. Thank you, Pascal, again for coming to Lithuania and showing us this amazing product.
Yeah, and I would, for close remark, I would also add that during the last 10 years, we were using various tools, examining different tools, and I've seen many businesses fail, but for the reason that let's say software companies were trying to build tools for finance professionals, and they weren't finance professionals. They were IT guys, or entrepreneurs who didn't have much in common with accounting or finance. So here I'm really happy that you have picked us as a partner to test, and I believe that working together in the long run we can also bring value and ideas.
Absolutely.
And so now you see that you've seen that accounting is evolving, and the AI is a powerful tool that can help you to make faster decisions, receive better insights, and more focus on the strategic finance function. So I hope that everybody learned something new. And if you have if you want to hear more about it, so you can reach out to us. Either Sumary or Baltic Assist will probably come in combo anyway. so whoever you like better. So thank you for all the participants. Yeah,
thank you. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye-bye.